Rampage.
Hey everyone, welcome back for a brand new Binge Rampage year and brand new video about the show that's taking over the world, Cobra Kai. Warning, beyond this point there are some serious spoilers for people who are not up to date on the Cobra Kai TV series as well as the Karate Kid film franchise. In this video we're going to give you our Rampage review of Season 3 and our shocking, possibly ridiculous theory of one major reveal that we think might be coming in Season 4 that's been set up right under our noses. Finally, we're going to announce who won our contest for this framed William Zabka autographed photo with certificate of authenticity that we announced during our Season 3 trailer breakdown. Before we go into the video, we just want to wish all of you a happy new year as we crane kick 2020 into oblivion. Cobra Kai fans have given us a record-breaking month and helped us hit 10 million views, and we just wanted to sincerely say thank you. To show how much we appreciate you, we will be holding another contest with an even better prize than before. This headband autographed by Karate Kid Ralph Macchio. And this time, you can have multiple entries. For every social media platform that you share this video on, you get one entry. For every follow on Instagram or Twitter, you get one entry. The full details and rules for the contest are in the video description below. Good luck. Now let's get into our Rampage review of Cobra Kai's critically acclaimed third season. We're going to go over each major storyline separately and then give you our take on the season as a whole. If you haven't watched Season 3, you need to get out of here now. The first storyline we'll talk about is the aftermath of the epic high school brawl from the Season 2 finale. The way the story was told through the eyes of news and social media gives a much-needed outside perspective on the very intense war going on between these two mortal enemy dojos. The random citizens giving their impressions of what the reporter calls a karate riot are hilarious, and it gives the viewer permission to enjoy how ridiculous it is that these grown men take karate so seriously. Johnny reacts just how you'd expect to the double devastating tragedies of Miguel's injury and his son, who he just made headway with, being wanted and on the run. Daniel trying to defend karate at the school meeting was a very humbling scene, and fun fact,
when I went to school here, I was bullied, and karate saved me.
Bullshit! I heard you were the real bully.
That's one of the creators shouting a controversial fan argument right there. The one critique we have of this storyline is that we didn't get to see Aisha and Stingray exit. We understand that this is due to situations beyond the control of the creators, but in a perfect world, we would have seen them each in at least one cameo scene to explain their character's absence for Season 3. Hopefully, they'll be back for Season 4. The next storyline we want to talk about is Robbie's. Robbie is a polarizing character that is sometimes hated and sometimes loved, but almost everyone can agree that this kid's life has sucked. Season 3 does a great job of taking a character who had just come clean of his one major sin and was on the verge of redemption and completely breaking bad with him. Seeing the way Robbie lives after Miguel's injury warms even the colder hearts, and the way Daniel sets him up to turn him in at his mother's rehab is low-key heartbreaking. Robbie's struggle throughout really shows how hard he tries to continue to implement his Miyagi-Do teachings, but there's just too much darkness in his life, and we basically get an Anakin to Vader story arc this season for Robbie. Our one criticism of Robbie's storyline is that his allegiance to Kreese makes a huge jump seemingly overnight, which we will talk about more later.
I can trust you.
For now, let's focus on Miguel's coma and recovery story. We had a ton of promo footage, so we already knew Miguel would wake up, but his coma moments still pack a punch as he is literally fighting in his dreams to get out while Johnny gives him a Mickey-level motivational speech that comes full circle in the finale when Miguel finds the strength to take down his old nemesis even with those skinny chicken legs. Seeing Miguel wake from his coma is an amazing way to end an episode, and side note, shout out to Tommy, Cobra Kai never dies. A great part of Miguel this season is his hardened but still compassionate outlook on life. He sees the truth and says what's on his heart. He tells children and adults alike what's what. His character comes across as one of the most balanced and mature in the series, almost as if he secretly tapped into that good Miyagi-Do chi. Johnny winning Miguel back and teaching him to walk again through some unorthodox and hilarious physical therapy methods are the heart and soul of this season. When Miguel first moves his foot is such a feel-good moment, and later on when Mr. Diaz gives his sensei some tough love and stands on his own too is one of the strongest scenes in the series. Now let's talk about Johnny and Daniel's team-ups. The two are reluctant partners early on, but as always, they can't help but end up throwing down, which was an amazing fight, by the way. Although their relationship is all over the map here, the season does a great job of coming full circle in the finale as their reunion with Allie serves to air the majority of their dirty laundry and tie up a lot of what fans viewed as loose ends from the Karate Kid films. We really love the moment when Johnny calls LaRusso Daniel. It's subtle, but it says a lot.
Merry Christmas, LaRusso. Daniel.
Seeing the two tag team Kreese was magical, and the final shot of the yin and the yang of Valley Karate training their combined dojos was truly amazing. What do you think? How long will this alliance last? Next up, we'd like to talk about the Kreese flashbacks, which, fun fact, actually featured his real-life son. The story throughout does a good job of explaining how Kreese became the twisted MF he is today. It also explains in depth why Terry Silver has so much loyalty for the Cobra Kai commander and validates where Cobra Kai karate came from, which was mentioned in Karate Kid Part 3 briefly but never really elaborated on. The big question is, did Kreese study any other martial arts after the war before he started Cobra Kai, or did his style come solely from his asshole captain? Our one critique of the flashbacks was that they sometimes came out of nowhere and pulled us out of some key moments, but again, we are glad to see Kreese and Cobra Kai's origins. The next storyline we want to cover is Sam's PTSD. Her character has long been considered boring and lame, but her arc after being traumatized by Tori's no-mercy attitude makes her much more interesting to watch. When she tries to stand up for the kids but completely freezes up while Dimitri gets his arm busted really highlights how bad Tori has Sam shook. What is possibly the best fight between the two is sadly a dream sequence, but seeing Sam go through a new range of emotions makes her character much more tolerable and also leaves a question mark about where she will go in Season 3. The other LaRusso child all of a sudden completely changed, which was a little jarring, but the kid is funny enough for us to let it slide.
Go wait in the car, Anthony.
Now we want to talk about Daniel's little field trip, which was sorely needed. We got to tie things up with Kumiko and find out that Chozen is doing better than any sensei in the series. His wisdom almost puts him in a Neo Miyagi role, and we can only hope that he returns for the war in Season 4. Seeing Chozen turn Daniel into a helpless baby and then nose honk him was filled with nostalgia, fear, and fun. Then watching that lesson transform Kreese into a terrified old man was a great way to tie up that story. Our one critique was at the very end when Daniel met the girl whose life he saved in Karate Kid 2. That was a great moment, but the fact that she, out of everyone in Japan, happened to be the one person that could save his business is a little far-fetched. Look, we believe in the willing suspension of disbelief, but there does have to be a line somewhere. That being said, we still love this season more than anything that has come out in a while. Following that moment, we want to talk about the LaRusso marriage, which we thought was in trouble heading into this season. The writers have done a great job of expanding on Amanda's character. She was always the voice of reason, but as Kreese has taken things so far, she starts to become a loose cannon as a rational person in a highly irrational situation and becomes much more supportive of Daniel. Amanda really is a breath of fresh air this season, and it's clear how lucky Daniel is to have her. Putting Amanda in the scene as the one outsider in the Johnny, Allie, Daniel triangle was also a great touch, as it took the pressure off of Johnny and Daniel to compete, and it revealed a ton of fun information that the fans are going to salivate over until Season 4. Finally, we want to talk about the overall karate storyline. Kreese's methods get cartoonishly extreme, which we don't mind, but wish there was a little more insight into his thinking process. Throwing snakes in a dealership is pretty batshit crazy. The students' fear and confusion as Kreese turns Cobra Kai into what it was in the 80s is a big part of what kept us interested in the dojo, but overall, Johnny and Miguel carry the show. Eagle Fang is the best name for a dojo ever, and Mitch's Schmedium shirt had us laughing for about 3 days.
Anyone else feeling a little snug?
Miyagi-Do as a dojo was pretty much non-existent until the end, but seeing them really picked on and broken down, first when Nate got beat up by that car wash, and then later on in the laser tag arena, is an intense moment in the series where Hawk pushes past what Miguel was willing to do. The final brawl between the Miyagi Eagle Fang dojo and Cobra Kai was legendary, and the turning of Hawk was such an epic moment we couldn't help but cheer for the Binary Brothers being back again. The tournament plot was set up a little fast, but the way Miguel and Sam worked together to save the sins of their senseis was a solid triumphant moment for the series. It's obvious the tournament will be the big event in Season 4, but how they will get there is another story. Miguel and Sam in Miyagi-Do was a great scene and way to set up what's to come in Season 4. The final fight between the three senseis was brutal, although we kind of wish Daniel would have went dark and put Kreese down. Overall, this season is some of the best television to come out in a while. The way the creators are able to suck us into this vortex of 80s nostalgia is mind-blowing. For honorable mention, we did love how Miguel and Daniel cleared the air about Johnny's version of the events that took place in Karate Kid.
I think Sensei was just upset because Allie was his first love.
How Yasmin empathized with Dimitri after being bullied, Johnny's progressing relationship with Carmen that Allie actually helped make stronger, and finally how Johnny typed his heart out to Allie on Facebook, and then end up putting this. What do you think? What were your favorite moments of Season 3, and why? Now we want to talk about our big theory for Season 4. We believe that Kreese is Johnny's father. We know this sounds cheesy, but what's more 80s than finding out the big villain you've been fighting for so long is actually your Pop Dukes?
I am your father.
Just saying, people, this isn't a random theory. We do believe the writers have left little breadcrumb hints for us in the first few seasons of Cobra Kai.
Here's Johnny.
Here's Johnny, yeah.
On our first rewatch of Season 3, one scene stuck out to us when Kreese visits Robbie.
But he drew a kid named Vidal. Now Vidal was a third-generation black belt.
The tidbit that piqued our attention was Kreese's mention of Vidal because we remembered that name from Season 2. When we went back, we realized that Vidal was the mysterious acrobatic karate fighter from the very first Karate Kid that has actually made an appearance in all three Karate Kids in all three seasons of Cobra Kai because he's sitting right here in the now legendary crane kick shot which shows up in all of the movies. We started to wonder why he'd be talked about multiple times in multiple seasons as Johnny brings him up here to Tommy.
You beat Vidal to get to the semis.
In the flashbacks where he appears in Season 1, he's even featured in more than just the crane kick shot. Later on in Season 3, Robbie looks up Kreese and Vidal is once again mentioned. But again, the question is why, and who cares? We know the creators have planned out at least 5 or 6 seasons of material for the series, so they already kind of know what their endgame looks like. If that's the case, then they are going to set up little Easter eggs in the story that will make sense later after we've seen the big reveals and climaxes they have planned for the series. We believe there's no way they'd bring up Vidal more than once unless there's a reason, and we think the reason is to relay that he's a third-generation black belt. This is the first time that we've talked about generational karate in the Miyagi-verse, and we think that's for a reason. We believe the creators are trying to get us familiar with this idea of multi-generational karate families as there is more than one in the valley, Cobra Kai. We also believe Vidal will play some kind of cameo eventually, but how big of a role he might have is anyone's guess. Going further into our theory, we think that Robbie now knows Kreese's secret.
He only wants what's best for you.
Kreese may have told Robbie he was Johnny's estranged father to win Robbie over to his side. Robbie quickly becomes very loyal to Kreese once he ends up spending one night there. Plus, he's not the most trusting kid. Why does he believe Kreese wants what's best for his dad unless he knew something that Johnny didn't? Why was it so important to Kreese in Season 2 to get Robbie to come back to Cobra Kai? But then you have to ask, why would Kreese not have told Johnny he was his father? We all know Kreese has a temper. Could he have scared Johnny's mom away and hit one of his many rock bottoms? Is it possible he went to Silver for the loan to start Cobra Kai in hopes of getting close to his son again? That seems devious and cartoonish, but have you seen Kreese in Season 3? So hypothetically, Kreese starts a dojo and waits for his son to hear about it or want to learn how to fight, and finally he comes in. Why doesn't Kreese let him know then? Possibly he doesn't want to scare Johnny's mom into getting a restraining order, or maybe he just doesn't know how to tell him the truth. We think by the time we get to the tournament in the Karate Kid that Kreese was ready to tell his star student who was on the verge of becoming a man and winning his third title that he had been learning from his real father all along. Kreese sacrificed Bobby's chances to beat Daniel in the tournament to try to hand Johnny the win. And when Johnny ultimately lost, Kreese, who has serious anger management issues, snapped. We all know how the rest goes and how that tournament destroyed his life. Wouldn't that destruction be so much more believable if it was over the loss of his son's love than just some stupid karate trophy? The fact that Kreese always kept that trophy and fixed it up for Johnny tells us that maybe there's more to his relationship with him than meets the eye. In the Season 3 finale, Kreese mentions generations of Cobra Kai.
3 generations of Cobra Kai working together.
Why bring up generations again? Johnny hasn't taught Robbie anything about fighting, so it's not generations from teacher to student. Then what kind of generation could it be? The same as Vidal, family generations of karate experts, which would work if Kreese is Johnny's dad. What do you think? Is this possible or just a figure of speech? We also think that maybe it's not so on the nose and that possibly Kreese's buddy from the picture here may have had a baby on the way back home that Kreese ended up feeling responsibility for. But without any trailers or promos, how this storyline could be set up is anyone's guess. One thing we strongly believe is that Kreese has a deeper connection to Johnny, and we'll find out about it in Season 4 or maybe even farther down the road. Finally, we want to announce the winner to our contest. Thanks again to all the hundreds of people that have entered, but there can be only one winner, and that winner was Anita. We've reached out and we'll get the prize to them as soon as possible. Remember, this next contest is even better, and we want to keep bringing you Cobra Kai content in the future and give away even more cool shit. But as always, in Season 4 or 64, if Miguel dies, we riot. Thanks so much for watching our videos, everybody. As always, we're on the lookout for any new insider information to help prove or disprove all the rumors and theories out there about our favorite show that slithered its way into our hearts, Cobra Kai. Please let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Binge Rampage. Click that notifications bell for our channel so you can see our next video as soon as it comes out. And don't forget to subscribe.
You all right, Vidal?
I'm okay.
1 point, Lawrence. Me?